For number 9 on the review, you have a system of 3 with 3 equations and 3 variables, and you need to solve this by hand with no calculator. Would be worth approximately 10 points on the test for a question like this because it has so much work involved in it. What you need to do is first you need to look at your equations and choose a letter that you would like to try to get to eliminate. It really doesn't matter what letter you pick, whatever looks the easiest for you. For some reason that I don't know why right now, I picked to get the y's to eliminate. I think I was looking at the top 2 equations and saw that one has a plus y and one has a minus y, so that's what I went for. So in these first 2 equations, I'm going to rewrite them over here. We have x plus y plus z equals negative 5. That's the top equation. And then the bottom equation was negative 2x minus y plus z equals negative 1. Currently, they have a plus y and a negative y, which means that the y's will eliminate. And you're going to pretend like you're in elementary school and add up the equations here. The y's cancel. X minus 2x is negative x. Z and z is 2z equals negative 5 minus 1 is negative 6. So what we're going to do is we're going to save this for later. So don't forget that you have it there. I'm going to highlight it so I remember that that's something I need to come back to. Then you need to go back over here, and you can't use the same 2 equations, but you have to go for the same letter. So I have to eliminate my y's. So what I did was I used the bottom 2 equations this time. And what I did was I noticed that here I have a negative 2y, and here I have a negative y. So what I had decided to do was if I want the opposite of negative 2y, I actually want a positive 2y. So I multiplied the middle equation to get this to be a positive 2y. I multiplied that one by a negative 2. So let me multiply that, and I'm going to rewrite it down here. When you do multiply an equation by a number, you have to multiply every single term in that equation, especially on the right side of the equals here. That's where everybody forgets to do that. Negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4x. Negative 2 times negative y, positive 2y. Negative 2 times z, negative 2z equals, and then negative 2 times negative 1 is positive 2. Then I'm going to copy that bottom equation just below there as is. X minus 2y minus z equals 0. And then now the y's are ready to cancel. 4x and x is 5x. Negative 2z minus z is negative 3z. 2 and 0 is 2. So now I have my other equation that has just an x and a z in it. So notice that both of these equations have an x and a z. And so what I'm going to do is now I'm going to use these 2 and get one of those letters to eliminate. Looking at this, the easiest letter to get to eliminate is the x term. Over here I have a negative x, and over here I have a 5x. So if I were to multiply the yellow equation by 5, I'll have opposites. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to multiply it by 5. So that'll be negative 5x plus 10z equals negative 30. Multiplying every piece by 5 there. Then I'm going to copy the green equation underneath there. Was 5x minus 3z equals 2. And then I need to add those together again. The x's cancel this time. 10 minus 3 is 7z. Negative 30 plus 2 is negative 28. Divide by 7. And I get that z is negative 4. Once you have one of the answers, you've done all the hard work. Now you just need to take that answer and plug it back. The first place I'm going to plug it into is either the green equation or the yellow equation, whichever looks easier for you. Really doesn't matter. I'm going to plug it into the green one. So 5x minus 3 times negative 4 equals 2. So 5x, negative 3 times negative 4 is plus 12. Then I'm going to subtract 12 from both sides. So 5x equals negative 10. Divide by 5, divide by 5, and x is negative 2. So right now we have 2 out of 3 of our answers. To get the third answer, we need to go to one of our original equations, and it doesn't matter which one. The first one looks like the easiest for me for plugging in. I'm going to write that equation, what it was, x plus y plus z equals negative 5. And I need to replace the x with negative 2, and then replace the z with negative 4. So I'm going to combine my whole numbers here. I've got negative 2 and negative 4 is negative 6. I need to keep that y equals to negative 5 there. And then add 6, y equals 1. And right now I have all 3 answers. I need to write them as a point, though, with my 3 variables. And they will always go in alphabetical order, so x, then y, then z. So the answer to this is negative 2, 1, negative 4. And then box it. Now you might have worked this differently, depending on how you worked it out. You might have solved for a different letter as you're going, and you probably did, because I think I sort of did this the harder way by picking the y's to eliminate. But you still would get the same exact answer if you solved it correctly.